Hello yogis, and welcome to the final part in our series for yoga for herniated discs and or sciatica. Now I normally edit this front bit out, but if you look you'll just see I'm being joined by Manny, who's a very lovely cat, and it was quite entertaining trying to film with him around, but he's absolutely gorgeous, so I thought I'd keep this in while I chat away. So this is our full class that we're doing. So hopefully by this stage you are well and truly on the way to recovery, but you will still find that you will have weakness possibly. You may still sometimes have some pain in the back, hopefully, rather than down the leg now. Let's begin at the back of the mat, seated up in Vajrasana or cross-legged if that doesn't make your symptoms worse. Make sure you're on 2 blocks so that your lumbar spine is in correct alignment. And even though hopefully things are improving, we must still not be doing forward folds, and that will probably be for a good long while yet, because we are at risk of it happening again. We need to wait for our ligaments to become strong and our muscles to heal again. So close off the eyes, come into the breath. Lower the chin to the chest. Inhale, bring the chin up and round to the right. Exhale, down and round to the left. Nice and slow. And then reverse the movement. Inhale, up and round to the left. Exhale, down and round to the right. Head back to neutral, eyes open. Right hand down towards the mat. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale into your side stretch. Both seat bones firmly on the blocks. Really feel the stretch up the left side of the body. Exhale, return to center. Then inhale the right arm up as the left hand comes down onto the mat. And exhale over into our stretch on this side. Thinking chin to ceiling, chest to ceiling. Exhale, come back through to neutral. Keeping the lumbar extension, navel up and in, come forward onto all fours. I'm just moving my blocks to the top of the mat, ready for a bit later. Puppy pose, heart to earth, hands to the top of the mat, hips stay over the knees, lower the forehead either onto a block, or if you would like, you can bring it all the way down to the mat. Lower belly stays engaged. Be really mindful of the sensations that your body is giving you, so that you know if you are trying a bit too hard or not. The sensations really only want to be about a 4 to 5 out of 10, and definitely no pain. Inhale, come forward to Sphinx, lower the pelvis, down onto the mat, readjust the forearms to find your level of back bend that is comfortable, shining the heart forward, breathing here. Come up into seal if that's comfortable. On an exhale, extend the forearms. If you're feeling a pinching in the lower back, return the forearms to the mat, to the ground, back into Sphinx. Exhale, lower back all the way down to the mat, Advasana, forehead on the mat, arms straight up overhead, releasing any tension. Do a quick check, make sure you're not holding tension in the glutes or the hamstrings or the shoulders. Breathing deep. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, navel in. Inhale, come back to tabletop. I'm just getting the blocks ready. Rise up into an upward kneeling position, ready to come forward into a low lunge. Step that right leg through. Hands on the blocks. Our lovely modified low lunge. Pulling that right hip back while sinking into the front of the left thigh and the left hip, the hip flexor stretch there. And you can either stay here, or if you feel ready, hands to the waist, rise up into low lunge, and if you like, inhale the arms up overhead. Really stretching through those fingers if you've got your arms up. Check your alignment, make sure your knee is not going beyond your ankle. Exhale, bring the hands back to the blocks, push through that right heel to come back to kneeling. Keeping the lumbar spine extension, navel in, come down to all fours, into half plank. Exhale, lower, inhale, rise, tricep dips, 3 of these. That's 2. Exhale, lower, inhale, rise. Exhale all the way to the mat. Toes flat on the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, bow. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, bow. One more. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, bow. Navel up and in. On an inhale, push back to all fours. Come back to your kneeling position. Blocks to the ready. Left leg comes forward. Our modified low lunge. First of all, with the hands on the blocks. Keep plugging that left hip back in so we keep our hips square. And if you would like, lift the pelvic floor, navel in, squeezing everything into the midline, rise up to your crescent lunge, either hands on the waist or hands up high. And if you like, gaze up to your hands, get a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, bring the hands back to the blocks, push back through that left heel to come back into your kneeling position. Blocks to one side, navel up and in, keeping the lumbar extension, come back to half plank position. Sweep off the ants that are on the mat. 3 tricep dips. Exhale, lower, inhale, rise. 2, 3. Exhale all the way to the belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, Exhale, bow. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, bow. One more with your breath. Cobra and bow. Navel in. Inhale, push back to all fours. Reset your tabletop position so that your knees are under your hips, wrists under your shoulders, and the cat made me jump there. Oh, I wasn't expecting his return. Extend the right leg back so you can stretch through that calf muscle. And hope that the cat doesn't get too interested in the foot. Inhale the right leg up and the left arm up. Thinking length, our 50-50 plank, working the core and the back. Inhale, lift them, and exhale, come back to the parallel. We're doing 8 of these. So on an inhale, the leg and the arm lift. On the exhale, they come back down to parallel. Bring the hand back down to the mat. Bend the knee, but don't put the knee on the mat. Inhale, lift the knee up and out to the side as if you're cocking a leg. 8 of these. So raise it on the inhale, lower it on the exhale. Now after 4 you can carry on keeping the knee bent, or if you like, try extending the leg out to the side and then raising it. This is really difficult and you may actually not be able to lift it up at all, and that's fine. You're still working the muscles even if it's not coming up. Return back to tabletop. Extend the left leg back. Navel up and in, shoulders back over the wrists. Inhale the left leg up and the right arm as well, if you haven't got a cat that wants to hang off of it. Manny's having a bit of a play there. 50-50 plank on this side. Really working the core here. Inhale, lift the arm and the leg, and on the exhale, bring it back to the parallel with the ground. 8 of these. Bring the right hand back to the ground, bend in the left knee, and then open out to the side. You can either do 4 with the knee bent, or you can do 8 with the knee bent. And if you would like, after 4, you can extend the leg long so it's on the ground, and then inhale, lift the leg up, exhale down, really working the abductor muscles, the muscles on the outside of the thigh and in the glute. Return to tabletop. Curl the toes. Bring yourself back to kneeling, so you've got your bottom is on the heels, toe squat. And if you need to move your little toe out, then please do. This is quite challenging for the feet. Arms out in front, bend the elbows, wrap the right elbow under the left, binding once or twice. Lift the elbows up, drop the shoulders down the back. Eagle arms. Breathing deep where you're feeling the sensations the most. Unravel, rotate the shoulders. Now if it's getting a bit too much for the feet, rise up into an upright kneeling. Bend the elbows, and then the left arm comes under the right. Eagle arms on this side. Garudasana. If you're still sitting back on your heels, make sure your pelvic floor is lifted so you're not dumping the weight all into the feet. Unravel, rotate the shoulders. Carefully rise up to standing, keeping that lumbar extension as you come up. navel in, mountain pose, feet hip width apart, kneecaps lifted, head over heart, heart over pelvis, navel up and in. Still mindful of our lumbar spine. Really trying to be tall through the centre channel. Lift up a bit taller. Inhale, arms up overhead, cross the right hand in front of the left. Exhale to shoulder height. Inhale, arms up, left hand in front of the right. Exhale all the way down. 2 more. Inhale, crossing the right hand in front of the left. Exhale all the way down. 1 more of these. Inhale, right hand in front of left. Arms to shoulder height on an exhale. Inhale, left hand in front of right. Exhale all the way down. Moving the head with the movement. Inhale, arms up to shoulder height. Palms forward. Exhale, arms back. Inhale, arms up, palms together overhead. Exhale down to heart centre and hope that the cat doesn't play with my big toe. Inhale, arms to shoulder height, palms forward. Exhale, arms back. Inhale, arms up overhead, gaze up. Exhale down to heart centre. These are our sun salutations. 1 more. Exhale, hands down to heart centre. I'm not quite sure what to do with Manny. Step the right foot back, coming into our warrior 2. Left toes pointed to the top of the mat, right toes pointed to the side of the mat, navel up and in, tailbone still in extension, left knee bent, arms out to the side. Breathing here for 3 breaths. And let's inhale, straighten the leg, arms up overhead. Exhale, back into your warrior 2. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, legs straight, arms together. Exhale into the warrior 2. Straighten that front knee, hands to the waist. Shorten the stance, coming into triangle. And remember, be kind to yourself. This will not be what your triangle used to be. It's not about how far we can get towards our toe, our big toe, if that's what you're used to doing. It's about making sure that our hips and our shoulders stay stacked. So, ideally, do this against a wall and keep the body in contact with the wall the whole time. So arms out to the side, bump the hips to the right. Inhale, lean to the left. Exhale, hinge. It's about getting a stretch through the side bodies, both sides, even the side that you are folding over to, without any forward fold at all. Our backs do not want that. Inhale, return to upright. Right toes pointing now to the back of the mat, triangle on this side. Breathing deep here. Exhale, look down. Inhale, rise back up. Hands to your waist for stability. Lengthen the stance and bend into that right knee. Warrior 2. Navel up and in. Make sure you can see your right big toe. Shoulders down the back. Do not tuck the tailbone. Inhale, extend. Exhale into your warrior two. Two more. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Hands to the waist. Turn the right toes in. And then bring the heels in. Ready to come into our squats. Hands to heart center. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Two. Keeping the knees coming out over our little toe. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. And if you want to work harder, straighten the arms up overhead. 6, 7, 8, and hold. Now lift the left heel, lower, lift the right heel, lower. Keep going, lifting the alternate heels. If you have a weaker leg from the sciatica, you might not be able to lift that high, but don't worry. And if you can only get it off just a millimetre or two, that's absolutely fine. And see if you can now lift both heels. This is challenging, especially when you have a cat on one of your feet. Exhale, back to standing. Turn the left toes out, coming into high lunge position on this side. Hands to heart center, lunge dips. Make sure that your front foot, your knee's not going beyond the ankle. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten both legs. 8 of these. Six, 7, 8. Hands either to the waist or to the sides of our legs, palms facing forward. Step that back foot forward a couple of steps and see if you can come into your warrior three. Now I'm standing on my weaker leg and I can really notice the difference. And I only managed a couple of breaths, but try and do 3 breaths if you can. Step the left leg back into the high lunge and 8 dips here. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten both legs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Step that back foot up a few paces. Arms by the side, palms down, facing down, and lift up into your warrior three. Breathing here, see if you can do 3 breaths before coming back to mountain pose. Take a moment to notice how you feel. I'm coming to the middle of the mat so you can see me. We're coming into tree pose. Weight onto the right leg, and you can either have your toes on the mat, heel against the ankle, foot against the calf, or foot on the inner thigh, keeping the hip points forward, and it's the knee that rotates out. And either keep your hands at heart center or grow your tree. If you've got your foot against the inner thigh, the thigh is pushing against the foot and the foot pushing against the inner thigh. Exhale, hands down to heart center. With control, extend the leg forward. Exhale, lower down. March it out for a moment. And now weight onto the left leg. Hands at heart center and choose your tree. And you may find that you can't do the same on both sides. And that is fine. Whichever one is your weaker leg, you will find it much harder to balance. So really fix the gaze, pelvic floor lifted, navel in. Inhale, extend the leg forward, flex the foot. Exhale, come back, march it out. Let's come back down onto our mats. Navel in, keeping the lumbar spine in extension. Coming into reverse tabletop. Knees bent, feet flat on the mat, hip width apart. Hands on the mat, under the shoulder with the fingers facing towards our feet. Inhale the navel in, still keeping that extension. Exhale, lift the buttocks up. Keep the gaze either forward or, if you're comfortable, let the head go back. 3 breaths, then lower down. This is hard work and you'll really feel it in the hamstring of the weaker leg. Prepare yourself again, navel in. And on an exhale, rise up. Three breaths. Exhale with control, come back down, keeping, as ever, the lumbar spine in extension. Carefully come forward. We're coming onto our front, so come to tabletop. Lower the pelvis down and then the chest. Locust pose, hands by our side, palms down. Big toes sort of pointing towards each other, navel in. On an inhale, you will lift head, shoulders, arms and feet. 3 breaths here. The knees may come off the mat, they may not. It does not matter if they don't. Exhale, lower. Breath cycle to recover and prepare for the next one. Navel in, inhale, rise up. Inhale, exhale, come back down. Advasana again, arms up overhead. Mentally have a quick check, make sure tension is being released from the legs and the glutes. Bend into the right knee and then the left, catching your ankles, feet flexed. Bow pose we're coming into here. Make sure that navel's up and in. Inhale, lift only the head and shoulders. Thighs are staying on the mat. 3 breaths. Exhale, lower. A breath cycle to recover. Now you can come into full bow if you want to this time. On the inhale, head, shoulders and thighs lift off. Trying to keep the knees coming towards each other, they won't touch. Exhale, lower. Release the left leg, catch hold of the right foot and pull the heel towards the glute. Forehead resting on the back of the left hand. Lay in quad stretch. We've worked our quads hard. Still keeping the breath slow and deep. Release the right foot, switch hands for the forehead to rest on, bend into the left knee, catch the left foot and pull that left heel towards the left glute. Keep the mind focused on the breath and the sensations in the body, breathing into the areas that you feel the stretch the most. Carefully release the left leg, hands under the shoulders, navel in, inhale, rise up to tabletop. Come round onto one side, one hip, grab your strap, you'll be needing it now, and then lower carefully down onto the back. Place a strap around the ball of the right foot, hamstring stretch, so the foot is now parallel with the ceiling, the knee is bent as it needs to be. Once you've got yourself situated, you can either keep the left knee bent, being mindful of the lumbar extension, or you can straighten the left leg. And with time, on each exhale, you may be able to extend the right leg a little further, but again, you only want the sensations to be a 4 to 5 out of 10. No pain in the back. Slow, deep breaths. We're here for 10 breaths in total. Bend into the left knee so the left foot is flat on the mat. Cross the right ankle over to the thigh, coming into reclined pigeon. And you can either keep the left foot flat on the mat or raise it up so the shin is parallel to the ceiling with a strap behind the left thigh to pull that knee in closer. Both feet flexed. Very important. We're using the strap rather than bringing our hands through to make sure that we don't put our lumbar spine into forward flexion. Or it may be more than enough to be keeping that left foot flat on the floor and just pushing the right knee out gently. Carefully release. Bring the strap around the ball of the left foot. Try and get that foot parallel to the ceiling, knee is bent as needed. And it doesn't have to be completely parallel to the ceiling. Right knee can stay bent or extended, keeping the arch in the lumbar spine. Whichever is your affected leg, if you've been having sciatica, you will notice quite a difference. It will be much tighter. With every exhale, just see if you can extend a little bit further. You'll know, don't go beyond your edge. Really listen to the signals that your body is giving you. Bend into that right knee, come into recline pigeon on this side. So you've got your options. You can keep the right foot flat on the mat, pushing the left thigh out. You'll know if that's enough of a stretch in the left glute. Or you could bring the strap round behind the right thigh, right shin parallel to the ceiling, and pull that thigh in. Both feet flexed. Sending the breath to where you're feeling that stretch the most, getting oxygen to that muscle. And release. Have your block to hand. We're coming into supported bridge, or you may actually want to do an active bridge. You'll know which you feel like doing. Whichever you're doing, first of all, you want to carefully lift the tailbone. So inhale the navel in, but keeping the lumbar spine slightly arched. Exhale, lift up from the tailbone. Make sure the glutes are working if you're in active bridge. If you're coming into restorative, place the block under the sacrum and then rest down. If you're in active bridge, you can snuggle the shoulder blades together, clasp the hands to lift the hips a bit higher. 5 breaths if you're in active bridge. And then palms flat on the mat. Exhale, come down, and you're going to keep the lumbar arch so the tailbone will land first. If you're in restorative, just stay where you are. If you're doing active, let's prepare for another bridge. Navel in on an inhale. Lumbar spine is in extension. Exhale, lifting from the tailbone. Keep the knees aiming towards each other. Don't let them splay apart, so there's weight on the ball joint of both feet. And think chest to chin and chin to ceiling. Palms flat on an exhale. Come back down, the tailbone will land first, and if you're in restorative, mindfully lift the tailbone just as carefully as you would do coming into full bridge to remove the block. Let's all of us now come onto one side. We're switching round onto our fronts. Come onto all fours first of all, keeping the lumbar extension, lower the pelvis down, then the chest. Coming into Matsya Kridasana, our counter pose for the back bends. So the right knee comes up towards the hip, the ribs. Head is resting on the hands. Left elbow towards the top of the mat, right elbow towards the knee. Lovely relaxed pose. Keep the breathing slow and deep. Let's switch sides. So the left knee comes up. Right elbow is now pointing to the top of the mat, left elbow pointing down to the knee. Right side of the head resting on the back of the hands or the forearm. Carefully come out of this position. You can either rest in Advasana, if you've had enough of rolling around, or come up into tabletop, ready to come onto our backs for Shavasana. If you're coming onto the back, use your blocks to go under your knees. Truly restorative for the lower back. Legs just wider than the mat, arms out to the side, palms up. Notice the breath, but don't try and control the breath. And if the mind starts to wander, just notice where it's gone and then bring it gently back to the breath. Start to wake back up. Rotate your wrists and ankles. Stretch up overhead. Bend one knee in at a time, feet flat on the mat. Roll onto one side. Then bring yourself up to any seated position of your choice. I recommend kneeling, if your knees can do it. Inhale, arms up overhead, palms together, bringing down all that wonderful energy into our heart center. Bow your head to your hands, thanking yourself for taking this time to help your body recover. Namaste. I hope you have found this whole series helpful, useful. It's a long, slow process. Try not to be too hard on yourself or frustrated. There is so many aspects to yoga that sometimes injury time gives us the opportunity to maybe explore some pranayama or some meditation. Leave me a comment below, click the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and thank you so much for watching.